Welcome to another edition of Akau TV. I'm joined again this morning by Jamie Rydges. How's the week going, Jamie?
Yep, pretty good, thanks. Weather's good in Matamata, but frustrating yesterday, that meeting at Taranaki being abandoned. But other than that, I think everything's going according to plan. Looking forward to the Group 1 day tomorrow and also the races here at home.
Absolutely, that was a bit of a shame. How many horses had to be floated home after that? Was it 2 or 3 that were yet to race?
Two that missed a start, so they'll go to Taronga next week.
Cool, and I guess this week's been a big week of awards. So congratulations on the New Zealand Thoroughbred Racing Horse of the Year awards and your achievements that you claimed through that. Obviously, it was the second year that you were nominated for Trainer of the Year without any other trainers being nominated, and that was on the back of 160 winners last season. So congratulations, mate.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a pretty special season. Highlighted, I guess, by those great mares, probably Avantage and Melody Bell doing such a wonderful job for us. So, we're missing a couple of them this year, but hopefully we've got some nice young stock coming through as well.
Absolutely, and of course, congratulations to Brendan and Joe Lindsay for taking out the Horse of the Year with Probabeel, and of course the Owner of the Year award as well. They're some serious contributors to the industry. And great to see the good guys come out on top with those awards. And also, of course, Ashley Hanley picking up the Stable Hand of the Year. So that's a great acknowledgement of her work, travelling the horses and looking after them in Australia, when obviously you couldn't travel across those race meetings. And I understand she'll be flying up to the Gold Coast and looking after Bright Blue Sky up there also.
Yeah, that's the plan. And Ashley deserves all the recognition she gets. She's done a wonderful job and made a lot of sacrifices sort of going over there and being stuck in Melbourne with not really a lot to do or anywhere to go. So can't thank her enough for her contribution. And while we're talking about staff, that they've just done such an amazing job for us all last season. And again, through the beginning of the season, and it will carry on. They're the backbone of the business, and can't thank them enough for everything that they do and the long hours that they put on and the sacrifices that they make to be here with these horses and get the best out of them for our owners. So they deserve all the accolades they get.
Absolutely, and I'll give one more shout out. Obviously, the Matamata Awards were on Thursday night, and Michael Roustaby was named the Jumps Jockey of the Year for the Matamata Racing Club. He's obviously a valuable track work rider for you and the team as well.
Yeah, for sure. He's he had a bit of a toss through the season there and missed the last bit of it and a bit of track work, but he's back in great shape now, and glad to have him back. He's awesome with his times and never far wrong when he says one's going well.
Absolutely. And I guess moving down to the week that's been, we had a decent set of trials on the home track at Matamata on Monday. Any in there that you want to touch on quickly?
I think it was just good to see some of those sort of open horses having a bit of a head out. Had some nice 2-year-olds out and about as well. Unfortunately, it's sort of been quite a warm November, so the tracks have sort of dried out really quickly. That trial track was pretty firm, so hard to get a line on the 2-year-olds. But I think a nice sort of fitness day there for us. A few horses that sort of surprised us, a few that stepped up that we knew were going well. So hopefully that all bodes well for Christmas racing.
And of course, sad to see the end of Savillon Blanc's career earlier in the week as well. She's been a great mare to you, and obviously for her owners, the Gartshaws. Where does she go now?
Yeah, so that was pretty frustrating, really, and a bit of a double whammy for the boys. With her also not being in foal the day that she was found to have done a tendon. So they took it on the chin and turned the page. And as I sort of said during the week, can't thank them enough for sending her into us. And as you say, she's done a wonderful job, 6-year-old mare, and got her Group 1 there on, in early October in the Livermore. So she'll go. Well, she's out at Waikato Stud now, and she's just going to let down, and she'll be covered nice and early next season. She'll be off to Super Seth.
Absolutely. Super Seth looks like a very exciting stallion who could be on the rise in the coming season. So I guess the week that's been, we had a couple of winners. Obviously, I Choose You. You tipped it out as your best bet. She was a Magic Millions purchase in the syndicate with Bright Blue Sky, and it sounds like we might see her again on New Year's Day in the Eclipse. Is that right?
Yep, she's just had sort of 4 or 5 days in the paddock. Had a quiet canter here this morning, and yeah, she'll go to the Eclipse. She'll go out to Ellerslie on the 17th and have a bit of a gallop round there and a bit of a look round. And we're just trying to follow a similar sort of program to what we did with Imperatriz last year. So the Eclipse, and then maybe another little freshen up and into the Matamata Breeders.
Perfect. And the old boy Aotearoa put his hand up at Wanganui. I guess the writing's been on the wall for a couple of starts now, or a couple of weeks now. He seems to be in some pretty good form.
Yeah, for sure, and aided by a lovely ride from Pama, a young apprentice here who's riding really well. The horse hadn't had a lot of luck and he'd been drawing bad gates, so got a nice barrier and was able to get up on the speed there at Wanganui, where it was hard to make ground, and only won by a short margin, but nonetheless, was good and brave. So if we keep placing him right, hopefully he can keep stepping up to the mark.
Absolutely. And moving forward to tomorrow, obviously we've got Group 1 day down Trentham. Are you heading down to Wellington tomorrow?
Yep, down to Wellington in the morning, and two in the Group 1. Unfortunately, obviously lost Savion Blanc, and we just redirected Mai Tai a little bit, and the Mighty Spa drew 24 and 24, so we've only got the 2 down there.
And the Captain Cook Stakes obviously shapes as quite a strong race with Agon fresh up. It'll be great to see a horse like Prix de Fer have his time in the sun, and he's probably one of the more unlucky runners not to win a Group 1 at this stage in his career.
Yeah, for sure, and he's going to have to do it hard again from the outside gate, which just makes things really difficult. So he's really going well. His trial was great. Very happy with him. Glad that Parksy's on him, and hopefully we can have a little bit of luck in running, and I think he's got to be genuine sort of chance.
Cool, and I guess it's great to see Jonathan Parks back in the saddle, and we should see more of him in the coming weeks as well. So we'll just finish off that race now that we've only got 2 runners down there. The second of which is Brando, who was obviously unlucky not to win a Group 1 back on the same track in January. He has Craig Grills on board from Barrier 3.
Yeah, really happy with him. I think he's going really well. He's been sort of set for this race. We missed the Copelands in preference to head towards here and chase the Group 1. He won well first up, bit of trainer error rushing him back second up where he didn't fire, and I thought he was really good at Tauranga last time on a pretty wet track, and was sort of checked halfway down. So I think he's bringing sort of solid form into it, and can't believe his price. I think there's certainly a bit of a case for him to be played each way.
Absolutely. So moving up the country to Matamata, we've got a number of runners engaged on the home track. So we kick off in race 1, the Waikato Stud 1500. It's a rating 65 benchmark. We've got Taupare from Barrier 9 with Joe Cameroon on board, claiming 2 kilos.
Yep, happy with her. She ran first up on the same day that Brando did on the wet track, and finished off really well. We've just sort of given her 3 weeks into this next run. Happy with her. She's drawn a little bit awkward in 9, not too bad. Hopefully we can get a bit of cover. I think she's a progressive sort of mare. Trying to get her into that Stella Artois race, and hopefully she can run well there and get some points on Saturday. Definitely a nice each way chance.
Great. And moving down to race 2, the Matamata Veterinary Services 1400. It's a maiden race. This is one horse that probably won't stay a maiden for very long. Felicien, unfortunately, drawn Barrier 14 with Cosi Asano on board.
Yep, hope you have it home to there, Hamish. But very unlucky not to win last time. Just got sort of missed the kick away a bit and got held up in the run home and sort of dashed at them late to be narrowly beaten. So she's going well. Drawn awkward, but I think we've got to push forward and try and take a bit of bad luck out of the equation if she jumps. But yeah, she's going really well. Got to be one of her better chances of the day.
Great. And moving on to race 3, the Fairview Motors Matamata 1400. It's another maiden race. We've got two runners lined up, the first of which is Madam Moet for Fortuna with Joe Cameroon on board claiming 2 kilos.
Yep, happy with her. Ran well first up, got the nice soft draw. Should get a good run in behind the speed from there, and got to be a nice each way chance again.
And outfit out of the good race mare Costume for Waikato Stud, drawn Barrier 4 with Cosi Asano on board. Yep,
happy with her. Both those. Well, that filly's been training well. Been getting a bit of extra sort of swarming into her, and just trying to get her a bit fitter. She's a little bit unlucky at Rotorua. Sort of got up in behind them and didn't have a lot of room. So expecting all 3 of those maidens to run really well, and should all be right in the firing line, hopefully.
Great. And race 4, the Stella Artois 1500 Championships qualifier. We spoke about that series last week and how the points work. It's a rating 74 benchmark over obviously 1,400 metres. First up, we've got Exaltation. I understand she might be in foal to Savabeel.
Yeah, she's in foal. She missed her first time around, but the team out there, Mark Chittick and his crew did a great job getting her in foal second time around. So happy with her. She's had a trial. She's got the nice low gate. Expecting her to run well, but might be better again next time and 14 or a mile at a next start. With another run under her belt should suit her.
Great. And Campionessa drawn barrier 11 with Joe Cameron on board.
Yeah, she's going really well this mare. She's particularly hard work here around the stable. Joe does a lot of work on her rider every morning. She's been naughty in the gates, but I was really pleased with the way that she closed off at Te Rapa. She just had a quiet trial here on Monday to keep a bit of work up to her. Would have loved to have seen her draw a softer gate. She's probably going to be back a bit getting to the outside. Hopefully she can finish off like she did at Te Rapa last time.
Great. And race 6, the J-Swap Contractors Limited 1200 open handicap. Obviously, this is a pretty strong race by the look of things. We've got Top Brass, drawn barrier 1, is going to enjoy the claim with Niranjan Palmer on board.
Yep. As you say, good race. He's a little bit unlucky last time. He got softened up in front, which was pretty hard to watch. But he sort of kicked on strongly. So Palmer knows him well. He rode him well first up when he ran second. He'll go forward a bit from there, as you say. 4 kilos off helps. But yeah, he's training well. He looks good. I think he's going really well. But it is a good field.
Great. And that wraps off the runners for the weekend. Do we have a best bet? We're running at 5 from 6 over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So we're running hot.
5 from 6. I think both of those horses at Trentham will run really well, but it's hard to make one of them the best. Felicien drawn wide, but going really well. Or Outfit drawn well. Let's go Felicien to finally salute the judge.
Excellent. And I guess just moving along, the ready to run shares, I've just been advised by Karen this morning that they're all sold. So the last of which was a 5% share in the Deep Field Cold. So that went this morning. The team will be active on the Gold Coast in January, where recent purchases have included Bright Blue Sky, I Choose You, Sword of State, and Imperatriz. And of course, the team will also be out in force at Karaka in March. There'll be plenty of opportunities coming up over the next 2 or 3 months to be able to find a share and get a horse trained by Jamie Rydges, ridden by Opie Bosson, and the rest. So have some of those horses come into the stable now? They're ready to run runners? How are they looking?
Yeah, the majority of them are actually in here and all just sort of training along quietly. They'll have a couple of jump outs through the back end of December and could well be ready to trial early January. But we'll just sort of see how they come along. Really happy with how they've all settled in, and Karen and Dave and the whole team have done a wonderful job to get those horses sold so quickly. Also sold a horse off the trials during the week as well, which sold out really quickly. That I must thank Karen and Dave for backing our judgment there with him.
Sold in 4 minutes that horse apparently after the
email
went out.
So that's something that we might look to do a little bit more of. Seems to be quite popular with the ownership group, but the ownership team that Te Akau have. And as you say, the Gold Coast, really looking forward to that. Had a lot of luck buying out of the sale. We used Andy last year, and I think that Dave and Andy will be sort of trying to drum up a similar sort of list, hopefully. The bloodlines that you're able to sort of purchase there, the I'm Invincibles or the Fastnet Rocks or the Schnitzels, or all of that gene pool that's over there is, it's incredibly fast. And when you bring it back to New Zealand, they really do shine nice and early for you. So something that's worked well for us before, and hopefully we can have a bit of luck there again this coming January.
Absolutely. And Andy Williams, who you mentioned, of course, is running pretty hot at the moment. He was involved with the Very Elegant sale, I understand, as well. So there you go. He's got his eyes all around the place, does Andy Williams. And I guess moving along to, the Karaka Million, we're only 7 weeks away now. Novair was back in the stable this week. Can you tell us about where he's heading?
No, Veer he'll go up to Ellerslie on the 17th and have a gallop. He hasn't done a lot of racing right-handed, or any racing right-handed, and he's never really been to Ellerslie either. So we're going to run him in the Uncle Remus on Boxing Day, and then he'll go a month into the Cracker Mile, and he'll either have another run or a trial in between times, just whatever we sort of think he needs. But he seems to have returned from the South Island in good shape, really happy with where he's at, and he's coming along well.
And he's likely to run into On the Bubbles in that race on Boxing Day as well. So obviously On the Bubbles loves Ellerslie, loves right-handed, and that should be a pretty interesting match race come Boxing Day. And of course, On the Bubbles, you'll see him race next week on Saturday at Te Rapa.
Yes. Will the owners be allowed on course?
I don't think so. We can't leave Auckland. We've got our haircuts. We're all ready to go, but we're not allowed to leave Auckland, unfortunately.
Week early. But no, on the Bubbles is coming up well. He's as you alluded to earlier, Hamish. He hasn't raced in some time, so he'll improve with his first up run at Te Rapa next week, and we'll be all firing on all cylinders. Hopefully, come Boxing Day.
Cool. And just touching on that Waikato Cup meeting, you'll have a few runners lining up there, I'm sure. I think I saw Vamos Baby might be heading there as well.
Yeah, Vamos Baby's going to wait for Boxing Day. Sure, on the Hallmark. We've got a lot to race at Christmas time. Haven't got a heap for Te Rapa for that Waikato Cup day. We'll have a few on the undercard. Might have a 2-year-old. Maito could go to the Callow Zuzu. We're lacking a cup horse and we're lacking a sprint horse. But we'll have some nice chances on the undercard. Hopefully, all going well.
Great. And I guess the picture for these 2-year-olds will become clearer over the next 2 or 3 weeks, as there's a few 2-year-old races I know scattered between Pukekohe, Awapuni, and over at Ellerslie in the lead up to the Cracker Million in January as well. So I'm sure you'll start seeing a few more of these 2-year-olds start stepping out over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we've got some nice horses sort of waiting in the wings, ready to go. But yeah, it's just little niggly little things like shin soreness and all of that sort of stuff. So we're working through that as best as we can, and hoping that we can have another strong hand in the race this year.
Right. Who's shaping up as the 2-year-old at the moment this far out to keep an eye on?
Well, we like a horse called Insatiable. He trialled on Monday and just had a nice quiet trial. He's just having a few quiet days in the paddock now. The horse Time Flies that went down to Otaki, he got a bit of a temperature on the way down there and didn't race. He's back up. He'll probably go to Pukekohe. He seems to be in good shape. Got a few horses that have ran, got a little bit of prize money, have now had a break and getting ready to go again. Horses like Lord Cosmos, Fellini. So hopefully there's some nice horses there, and there's some other horses that have trialled and will be having their first start at either Pukekohe or Awapuni that if they put their hand up and win some stake money quickly, they'll be on their way there as well.
Absolutely. So there's probably about 10 of them there that'll have a chance to put their hand up in the coming weeks to get into the race. So we'll wait and see what happens and watch the space. But thanks for today, Jamie, and good luck for Group 1 Day tomorrow down at Trentham, and we'll catch you again next week.